The West this year, we usually have a theme for each direction when we do this, these marches. And so this year the West took the big responsibility of honoring the late Rita Martinez, who was fundamental in this struggle, in this fight. And the fight isn't over in Pueblo. They still have a racist statue down in Pueblo, Colorado that needs to come down. And we need to support them in their efforts to take that racist statue down. Because Columbus was born in Pueblo, Colorado in 1905. And it still needs to die down in Pueblo, Colorado. And we need to help our relatives. And so who better to speak to the legacy and the life of Rita Martinez than her son? So I'm going to call Sente. If you're in the crowd, I need you to come up here and share some words for us about what our responsibility is to you, your family, your mom's legacy going forward, and how we can be good relatives to all of our community down in Pueblo who came out. To all the people in Pueblo who caravanned up here, thank you very much for that long drive you took to come up here and be with us this evening. Anybody seen Sente?
He went to get the bag.
Oh, he went to get the... All right.
Gente went to get the van, so I'm going to say a few words. Pueblo in the house! Aquí estamos. We're here in gratitude that you've honored Rita today and that you're showing up to honor our comadre, Rita Martinez, presente! Rita showed up consistently for 30 years to protest the honoring of Columbus. It's true that 2 years ago that bill was signed into law which effectively abolished Columbus Day, and Representative Adrian Benavides championed that legislation. And I remember when Adrian texted Rita to say it passed both chambers, and Rita said, call me back when it's signed by the governor, because she didn't trust. She had reason not to trust, and so she didn't let any of us congratulate one another or celebrate until it was actually signed into law. That was a lesson that she taught us. She taught us many lessons, the most important being that our issue was bigger than the holiday, bigger than the statue that continues to be honored and protected by the city of Pueblo and Mayor Nick Gradishar. It has been our means of organizing around issues like police brutality, environmental and racial justice, Indigenous sovereignty, gender violence. Rita was named a corn mother in the years before her death. And it was when COVID struck that she turned to those of us who worked closely with her and said, if I get COVID, I won't survive. And she didn't. But before she passed, she wrote some really important words that I want to share with you today. In Rita's words, my organizing is rooted in relationships, forming new relationships and actively maintaining long-held relationships. I remember visiting with Cesar Chavez in the 80s, and as we sat around the kitchen table, we talked about organizing among people who were the most poor and marginalized. We talked about how important it is to ask people to contribute to their own liberation, whether it's time, money, or other resources. I learned this over time, and today I have no problem asking people to donate, come to a meeting, or volunteer for an event. People want to participate and belong and give to their community, but sometimes they're not invited or no opportunity is provided. As an organizer, I help the community reflect on, amass, and flex their power. People sometimes seek to give personal recognition to me for my leadership, but I am nothing without the power of community. I spent my early years leading from behind. I was a support person and never front and center. Back in the day, the movement had mostly male spokespeople, but they did not alone provide central leadership. The core leadership was highly collaborative and drew on the models of our ancestors, women and men working as a team to support the work of the community. Only out of necessity have I occasionally ended up in front of the microphone or giving a speech, because leading from behind is where I'm most comfortable. It is our collective knowledge and passion that move us forward. We are sustained by one another to continue the fight, and continue the fight you will. Rita Martinez, presente! Rita passed away 10 months ago, and our prayers continue for her children, Tomas, Vicente, and Neva, We know that to continue to honor Rita's legacy is also to continue to acknowledge the open wound of their grief. But today, we flex our collective power. And in this moment, we can use some of that power to ensure Rita and others become a permanent part of our public history in as many ways possible. Presente!